again, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins, and of course, with me, as always, is Mr. Bobby Blunts. Bobby, a lot to get into tonight. We got the MMA to get into, but we're gonna actually start off with the big boxing news that happened. I think Thursday or Friday, not too long ago. There's some things that we don't get right. We don't get a lot of picks right. Sometimes we don't get a lot of, this right. But one thing we've been on since the inception of Zuffa was like, hey, everybody, you need to pay attention. And sure enough, they got their biggest signing. They signed Conor Benn to a $15 million one fight deal, it looks like right now. And no fight announced yet, just it's going to be a one fight deal, and this is their biggest signing. We kept saying, hey, this is a deal. These guys are not to be messed with. They are going to come for you. And Eddie Hearn found out firsthand his maybe youngest prized possession, Conor Benn, spurns him and signs with the competition, at least for one fight, to fight in Zuffa boxing.
Yeah, I mean, we went from last week, him telling, Turkey, or pretty much telling Dana that Turkey's his pappy. And then literally the following day, it looked like he just saw a ghost. I think it was like still hitting him and he was like digesting the information. But yeah, I mean, if the cat wasn't already out of the bag, it definitely is now. And, there's so many like different ways to dissect it for sure. Because I mean, Ryan Garcia fought last week too. Another guy that is that was his last fight, and he's going to be a free agent. So, the kind of alarms are like going off, like thinking all these different ways they can make it happen. But it's a game changer. The fact this is like never really been done before. A lot of people are getting caught up on the one fight deal part of it, thinking, well, they're just going to have them for one fight. How are they going to use their, ROI to make it work? And I just kind of think that's like very short-sighted. Like, to me, this was more of a power play than anything. Like, Dana made it pretty clear when he was saying those punch and baby comments, they were already kind of in talks.
Beating up babies.
Yeah, beating up babies. And then, we got the kind of scorched earth stuff from him at the post-fight presser. But, basically with Saudi having 60% of it, they're doing pretty much all the financial backing on it. And they're able to, offer these type of paydays for like just one fight. Something that, you traditionally would not see. Like Eddie Hearn said himself, that they always kind of just had a handshake agreement sort of thing. And, obviously, I don't know. I'd like to say he's kind of learned his lesson from it. And I know this isn't like really going to be the end of Eddie Hearn or anything, but this is kind of something I thought would happen a few years down the line, not a few days down the line. Like they, have had their third event. And, why people are like judging their shows at the Apex, they're swooping stuff up. Shapiro announced today basically that the Tyson Fury Netflix fight that is going to be put on later today, that is pretty much another thing that TKO is funding. So, I mean, they're getting the Netflix deal out of that. And you can essentially say that TKO has put on the two meaningful boxing matches, like for the sport and stuff, like as far as future, not like the novelty match. So a pretty wild amount of information to kind of digest in the last 48 hours, 72 hours.
Yeah, it's wild. And we kept saying it like, hey, they're gonna make some noise, I think you hit it on the head though. Like, we didn't think it was going to happen this soon. And to go out and get a young star and Conor Benn, it's trickled some waves. And you're seeing the backlash, right? From the UFC fighters, right? Sean O'Malley's talking on his podcast. Hey, I don't even know who the fuck Conor Benn is. I don't really believe that. I believe he probably does know Conor Benn, who Conor Benn is, like at least as a name, or knows he's a boxer at least. He's upset that this guy's getting 15 million and he's not. We saw comments by MVP as well. Like Dana's always kind of had this thing for boxing or other things outside of the UFC that they get the money, they get the the pub, so to speak, and all the fighters are they're not getting much. So we're already starting to see some of this backlash. And I didn't catch the whole clip, but I saw Bud Crawford kind of talking about it on Joe Rogan as far as like, the UFC fighters need to stand up for themselves and try to, get more money, make more money.
I mean, you notice that was one of the things Eddie Hearn wanted to point out when he knew he lost his guy. And he's like, well, if I'm a UFC fighter, I'm, disgusted. Hell, he made the same point after the Jai Pataya signing when saying he would pretty much make more than Gaethje or Patty did on, the main event there. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. Like, legitimately, it does not matter. This is how monopolies work. Shapiro already came out and said, oh, yeah, that is Turkey and Sella that is pretty much bankrolling that. Like, making it very clear, like, this type of money is, this is not going to go that way for the MMA side. And, I mean, obviously, I want them to be paid more. I think they're deserving to be paid more. But what I think is irrelevant, and to put on like Bud Crawford's point, his idea really would not even work because the way they have it set up, that's why there is no fighter union. You're never going to get these guys to band together. All the managers do not work for their clients. They work for the UFC. Their only qualification is to get the guy to say yes. I mean, Markel Martin, France's former manager, did a great article on his Substack, pretty much talking about he's about to, get his licensing and stuff for the NFL and stuff. Something that is required to go to schooling and have training. And it's not the same as, just getting some guy to say yes and then deciding to punch streamers in your downtime. Like, you're never going to see a kind of band together where this would matter. Like Sean O'Malley, perfect example. We literally have a clip of him saying that he is his own manager and he was very happy with the deal that he negotiated. And, I think at the time that was probably true. But then when he sees this type of stuff happening, it's those moments that they realize like, oh, wow, I actually am significantly underpaid.
The thing of it is like these boxers have been making all that money prior to this. It's just that the same company that they work for, it's also in the boxing company, and they're paying the boxers more for the different sport. But boxers always been making more money. You know what I mean? That's why we're seeing fighters leave and try this boxing or wanting to go fight Jake Paul in this, because they see the dollar signs. But the fact that it's all under, one umbrella, I get, or like one company. I mean, so is the WWE. It's all under TKO, right? Like, and so is Zuffa Boxing. Like, you're not. And
we know for a fact that WWE guys get paid a lot more than the UFC guys, and that's all one company. So
yeah, we know. Yeah, I mean, even the lowest guy on the WWE is making more money than probably most UFC fighters. Like, I mean, and then the top guy like Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns, they're making millions.
Yeah.
So and you mentioned Mark Shapiro. So I did, right before we got on air, I saw from his presser, he said, now let me be clear. We signed Conor Benn for just one fight. That's all we're talking about here. Of course, we hope eventually he'll fight in our Zuffa boxing series exclusively on Paramount Plus. But for now, this is just one fight, no different than what we did for Canelo and Crawford. I would add that the reported 15 million purse, I'm not confirming or denying if that's accurate, that Conor will be paid for the super fight in 26 is not TKO going out of pocket. It is led by Turkey Al Sheikh is covering the purse. So that's the difference too in boxing. Turkey, and we've said that from the beginning. It's like they're not. It's just not TKO flipping the bill here, folks. They have a man who is helping them pay for everything, who has unlimited amount of money. Whatever amount of money you could think of in your head that you could have in life, he has that and then some. So like he is flipping the bill and helping TKO build this, build these fights, and he's going to pay the boxing side. I don't think he's a MMA fan. He's more of a boxing guy, and that's where he's putting his time and effort in and paying all the money, which he has also done in the past for the super fights.
It's why I never understood why the other boxing promotions weren't taking them seriously from the jump. Because, like, this is not new information. We kind of knew Saudi and sell his stake in it. So,
right. I don't understand how two guys who talk on a microphone once a week, one in a basement and wherever the hell you're at in your house, can figure it the fuck out a lot quicker, Bobby. I have a college education, but it sure shit ain't in fucking business. We can figure out a lot quicker than fucking Eddie Hearn, who's been a boxing businessman his whole life.
I think the Conor Benn angle of it, generally surprised him. Like he was aware of it, coming down the line, but we got to remember, like, nobody has gone to bat for Conor Benn more than Eddie Hearn. I mean, he would get grilled in interviews, about the PED use and stuff. And I mean, they would run him through the ringer and he would just take it with a smile on his face and never, begrudge his guy. And but at the same time, like at the end of the day, it is just a business, and Turkey seems to be treating all of these promoters like they're just kind of like gas stations,
Yeah.
And they're,
I think he's the puppet master, and really even Dana and everybody else is the puppets, and he's just using all of them and getting, kind of pitting them up against each other while he's able to pay everybody.
Well, and the TKO part also, they kind of bring more to the table to Turkey at this point than they really do. I mean, if you look at how the next Netflix deal got negotiated, I mean, take it with a grain of salt because we obviously were not in the room. But, that was definitely kind of the Nick Khan side of being able to smooth that over from a business sense because they're already, in business with WWE and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, I think they just kind of work each other's purposes like equally to where
I do think Nick Khan is a big, he seems like he's a great negotiator. Whatever he does for the WWE, like he is kind of like their business guy. And he seems to be kind of the business guy for TKO, as far as like how to handle and how to make deals.
Yeah, and they it's even more wild because Ryan Garcia on Saturday had a great showing. Knocked Barrios down the first round. Looked like it was going to be a really short night, but legitimately on my card, won every single round. And this is kind of what we thought we were going to get back. And you see Oscar sitting in the front row the entire time I'm watching this fight. I literally have eyes on Turkey as well, and I just can't get out of I'm literally thinking wow, is he gonna win the title right now and then throw it on the ground and be and obviously I was getting way out of my skis over there, but Ryan has great options with being able to fight Shakur, but at the same time these things of the one fight deal, who's to say they wouldn't just throw him a quick 20 million to fight Conor Benn in the UK or something like that.
Yeah.
And, again, just something that we thought would eventually become a reality feels like it's already here. And, it's really hard to say, who is safe. And it's not like it's necessarily going to be the end of boxing as we know it. but it's going to be done a lot different way than it is done now. And that is, I just see very evident.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a kind of a revolution. We while we're on the boxing thing real quick before we get into the Houston card, I have, things. It seems like Netflix is just going to put on events that I don't have zero care, but I'll watch because it's on fucking Netflix. It has been announced that we are now going to get Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather 2 at the Sphere. Bobby, I have no. Will I watch it? Yeah, because it's fucking free. It's going to be on Netflix. But I have no desire. Don't fucking need it. I thought the first fight when they fought should have been the third fight. I've always kind of said that. And here they are. At least they're both in like their 50s. At least it's not one of them fighting Jake Paul or some young up and comer. It's two old guys. I said, I told you, I said, I've seen this before. It's called Grudge Match with Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro. So I've seen this movie once.
Yeah, but this is the product now. They no longer care about enjoyable fights or what you want. And at the same time, this is not solely Netflix I'm talking about. I think we can apply this to all streaming. Like Paramount Plus, I think would be lumped in this too. Instead of giving like us the best versus the best, they're just going to give, well, what is the easiest thing that we can get a bunch of people to tune in for, especially if it's like practically free behind a subscription. Because like, great example, if this was a pay-per-view, there's no way in hell they would be doing this fight because you could not sell that in a modern pay-per-view era. Even though the other fight came way too late, that still did very well.
It's the number one. It's the number one most bought pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna work for like the pay-per-view model, but for like Netflix, that say what you will about the matchups, they legitimately might have 3 or 4 of the highest watched combat sports cards this year. Enjoyment irrelevant. I am kind of excited for the Tyson Fury fight. And quite ironically, that's actually being put on with TKO. So, but I don't know. Like you asked me the other today, like, am I going to go to the press conference for Gina and Ronda? Why would I want to do that? I mean, you know what I would like? For them not to post training footage online. Like, I do not need to see Ronda Rousey hitting pads. Like, I believe it. She's going to fight, but I think that's the only thing like we really need to see. I don't think the Floyd one is just kind of what it is. What's Kev saying here?
I don't really agree with this, Kev. I hate to say it, but even in the UFC, Max vs. Charles is more nostalgia fight than a top tier pay-per-view headliner, and it's the most hyped I am for any booked fight. I disagree that it's nostalgia because I think both are still kind of at the end of their prime, and Max especially I think could still make a run at the title. I don't think Charles has it in him, but I think Max could definitely have a run at the title still.
I understand what he's saying as far as the enjoyment and the nostalgia part, but what he's talking about is actually nostalgia I want to see. Like, I want to see that fight. But the fact that it is currently the best fight that we have booked is kind of abysmal under the Paramount era. And I love that fight. But that's like, after we get that one next week, then we're there's like nothing being like dropped down. So and that could be by design of people watching this. They're gonna simulcast part of it on CBS. So
the April card's not too bad. The one in Miami, I mean, they're putting that together. We don't really know the headline quite yet. We do know it's going to be Josh Van versus Tatsuro Taira. So, and the undercard of that card seems to be pretty good. And I do agree there, Kev. It seems like it's a co-main 10 years ago rather than a pay-per-view fight. That's probably true. I mean, 10 years ago, there was no BMF belt, and they've just, using this, obviously. And while we're on the subject, I actually sent and I don't know, somebody can fact check this. My friend sent it to me, and I sent it to you, about those, about those fights. Now I got to find where I had it in our conversation.
About the amount.
Here we go. Out of all the men's divisions, top 10 in the UFC, only 13 have a fight confirmed. So 13 out of 80 people have a fight contract signed. That's confirmed, signed. And now we know a bunch of rumors, but actually signed and ready to fight. That's that's pretty sad if you think about it. Who knows what they're doing? I think this White House card seems to be holding up some shit. I'm just ready for it to get over with. I feel like it's like UFC 300, where we're just waiting, and you're just like, oh, we need to see what's on this card so we can build out after that. But one guy we might, Bobby, I'm going to transition here. One guy we might see, maybe not on the White House, but maybe a shot at the title. And that's none other than Sean Strickland, Bobby. I mean, what Sean Strickland did on Friday or Saturday night, that was the best. I know he won the title, but I think, and that was the most important fight and important win. But the best fight I've ever seen Sean Strickland look was Saturday night. I thought Fluffy had no answer for him. You could tell right after the first round, it's going to be a long night. And then Sean even gets the finish, gets him out of there. I thought that was the best Sean Strickland looked. And if you want to tell me, it should be him and Hamzat next. I know Imanov is kind of there, but Sean does have a win over him. And I would really like to see the presser between Sean and Hamzat. I think you could sell that fight.
Yeah, insane performance. Like when he came out, he looked very dialed in on his way to the cage. And, this is sort of the performance I thought we would get in the second Dricus fight, If anything, I know him and Nixick had their riffs, but I think Sean did a great job of proving his point on Saturday. Because, I mean, this is, kind of what Nixick knew he could get out of his guy. But, he immediately just started hitting him with the jab. And, the first round, Fluffy was throwing some shots. But, Sean was just completely shutting him down with the defense. And, it was a very good performance for a top guy that, we were talking about, like fighting for the title and stuff like that.
Yeah, how about it's funny because, like, remember they were supposed to fight RDR and Fluffy, and it was like, man, the winner of this could get a title shot. And then they didn't fight because Fluffy had to pull out due to injury, and now both guys lose their next fights. It's like, well, I guess they're not going to be fighting for a title fight. Fluffy just didn't look good either. And I thought Sean just looked absolutely amazing. He was pressing forward, the jab. Fluffy tried one take, couldn't even attempt to get to it, try to attempt to take down. I think he had one and failed. And Sean just pieced him up. And Fluffy offered no offense. I'm not too sure what the game plan was, or maybe he got in there and just realized, like, Sean was just the better fighter, and I thought Sean looked a lot like bigger and stronger than what he has in the past. And maybe the year layoff just kind of helped him.
Yeah, I mean, he just really seemed dialed in from the beginning. You knew he wasn't, especially like with where he is at in his career, he wasn't going to like necessarily change his game plan, but he did kind of seem to be a little bit more conscious and getting it going early and stuff. One of the things I was critical on him about was just how short or close the rounds are normally when the round ends. And in both rounds, he made a clear case of, winning both of those with a 10-9. And then the third round, Nixick said that Fluffy was going to try to switch it up because he's getting a little bit desperate. And, he hit him with that knee and
hit to the body. Yeah.
And that might just be a coincidence or fluffy, something he's going to have to address down the line. But
something or nothing about the whole mic being cut off at the presser.
Nothing at all. I find it comical that people actually think that Paramount, of all places, is actually telling the UFC what to do. Mainly for me, what he was saying about Fluffy's coach, that is like lawsuit material, and I think they just cut it because they're like, we're not doing that. But I don't think there was like a reprimand. I don't think they cut it because he was calling Chimaev a goat fucker. Like, I think they were just like, little. Both him and Dana's presser was like 8 minutes. So, but yeah, I don't really think it was something like, oh crap, they're like censoring him finally.
I don't get it. I think it's nothing either on the presser part. There's worse things on Paramount Plus that you can watch other than Sean Strickland, right? Like you turn on one of the movies or TV show like that's on the streaming device, you're going to hear just as, if not worse, than what Sean's saying. I don't really, I kind of agree with I agree with what Dana said about Sean. Was like he kind of blamed the media. Like, you guys are going to ask dumb. You already know what you're going to get with Sean, right? So like,
I knew that was going to be his answer though. Like,
yeah,
it was so
but he's got
awesome.
a point. He's got a point. He's got a point. Like the questions they asked Sean about the halftime, that's got nothing to do with fucking fighting. You're going to get the rise out of Sean, and you're going to get his answer. So you ask those questions like that. Because he is going to give you the clip, right? He's going to give you the soundbite that you're looking for. Not that it has anything to fucking do with the fighting or MMA or anything with Sean personally. You already know that, and Sean's going to oblige to that because that's who he is. So it's a little bit of Sean's fault, right? You have the what you're going to say on the microphone, but also the reporter knows, hey, I'm about to ask this question because I know I'm going to get a rise out of him.
Yeah, and then not because I didn't even watch the press conference.
Me neither.
There's really I don't, and that has nothing to do with Sean Strickland. I just generally don't really watch those anymore. You get nothing out of them with the questions, and the ironic thing is the only reason I saw it is because everyone's quote tweeting, saying what the fuck is this, and all you're doing is getting it out there more. Like it's a midday press conference, but I understand obviously why it ruffles feathers and stuff, but I don't think that's like gonna be a determining factor in like the booking they're going to do with him. However, for me personally, I want to see one more consistent performance for him before I just have him fight Chimaev.
So you're saying you still want Imanov, Chimaev? Who would you do with Strickland next then?
Probably the winner of Kyle
DDP.
Yeah.
You're DeRitter, not DDP, but yeah.
Yeah, and I, personally, I don't think that's too far of a stretch to like really want to see one more with him. I definitely get the argument for giving him a title shot, but at the same time,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Imanov seems to be more interested in fighting Sean Strickland than he does Hamzat.
And personally, I think that's a tell that Chimaev might just not be too long for the division. Because you had Cormier talking today about how I don't know if he can make 185 again. He looks huge. And that would be like the scenario where I would see Strickland gain the title shot next if it's him versus Imanov for the vacant title.
Dana did not seem too keen on that. He said he wants Hamzat to fight for the defend the title a few times.
And I agree with him. I definitely want to see at least one defense, but at the same time,
I'm a big clean out your division before you move up kind of guy.
In most cases, I am. In this scenario, it's similar to Ilya. I generally do not think he can make 145 or 185 anymore, as Ilya couldn't make 145.
Yeah. He should be able to make 185. The guy was trying to fight at 170 at one point in time.
And then I'm not sure if it was ESPN or who, but they have leaked that like the main event is a light heavyweight title fight. But then again, with like AI and bullshit, who knows if that's even real? But
Yeah.
that originally I was thinking maybe we might be getting the heavyweight solution for Miami. I think it's more likely 205 is where we get it, and I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of options, but it's legitimately if they're going to let him move up or not. But we kind of thought the shoe-in was probably going to be Oberg Yuri for the vacant title, because I think both me and you are just assuming that Pereira is going up to heavyweight.
Yeah, I think so. Oberg did tweet out on his IG that fight news coming soon. I want to go, stay in Houston. The doctor, huge win in the co-main. I think we've seen the best of Jeff Neal the last two times. I mean, just a knocked out cold, bad. The protest, and before that, not too much before the protest knockout, he was choked out by what's my guy's name? The Shavkat. So, he's been finished like 3 out of his last like 4 or 5 fights, but the last 2 brutally knocked out. The doctor mediocre puts him down. Your thoughts on the co-main, and then we'll get into our guy Melky here.
Yeah, I mean, that was rough. Great knockout. Definitely capitalized on the mic time too. That was epic promo, pretty much saying, I could be back in that same position. So yeah, definitely, using his time there. So took full advantage of, the co-main event slot. And yeah, I mean, that was brutal to see for Neal there.
Yeah, Medic is now ranked. He asked for Leon Edwards. I wouldn't mind that. Him and Leon. It doesn't seem like that's obviously going to happen at London card, but like he was saying they're going to go maybe to the Ukraine or something like that. He would love to fight, Leon there, but I wouldn't hate the doctor versus Leon.
Yeah, no, as a fight stylistically, I'd be fine with it. What is he ranked now? Like, is he 15 or is he?
Hold on one second. I'll pull it up.
Because I mean, that's a killer division too. But I like Leon. I also would love like Bilal Muhammad. I think that'd be a really fun fight.
Yeah. So he is now 12.
Damn, good for him.
Yeah. I mean, can he just fight 13 Colby Covington and get Colby out the rankings?
I mean, the rankings mean nothing. Him being in them is like pure rage bait. I get the point, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Leon is 8. I don't hate it.
Yeah, and stylistically, I think that's a fight Leon would probably also want to take too, compared to some of the other options down there. So, yeah, I mean, great show. I mean, if you want to maximize a co-main event slot in front of the crowd, like, could you imagine if that promo was in the fucking Apex? Like how the lack of energy it would act compared to that, So I'm glad that it was a moment we were able to enjoy in front of a crowd.
Yeah, same. I thought it was huge. And then the guy we've been touting is kind of a guy to watch, top prospect, huge win. Melky Costa finishes Dan Ige. First time Dan Ige's ever been finished in his career. So now Melky is now officially ranked as well. He is ranked. Let me get to the scroll up here to the featherweights. He is ranked number 13. So don't hate it. He didn't really call out anybody. I mean,
he technically called out Diego, actually.
Oh, he did? Diego Lopez?
Yeah, he was in the crowd. He did all politely too, because he's like, I think he's fighting Yair, but if he's not, throw my name in the hat. Like,
I must have missed that.
yeah, well, it's a translation too. So,
Okay. Yeah,
um,
I don't hate that. Well, I don't hate the Diego Yair fight, but I definitely don't hate him fighting. I mean, the top of the 145 is pretty stacked. You're going to have Mozart, and we know we're getting Mozart in Lerone Murphy. I mean, him and Aljo would be a good one.
before I go to the matchup, let me give my guy some flowers. Like, I think he might have the hardest kicks in the UFC.
Oh yeah,
Certainly at 145.
He's put down 2 guys due to his kicks the last 2 times out.
Yeah, and I mean before he set that up, I mean he was throwing those, and they absolutely looked like they hurt. And I do think he's definitely on his way to being in that conversation. I'm glad he's ranked. I don't want him to fight like the 10 or 11 guy. I want him to go straight up.
Well, that's why I said Aljo's kind of right there. Aljo is 5.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Respect to Aljo. I got another name in mind because think this will be a very interesting fight. Give me Melky Costa versus John Lord Silva.
I was gonna say that's the guy that when you said that's a fucking banger. That would be that would be a banger fight.
Yeah, I mean that you could easily you could even do that like for a main event and be a 5-rounder. I mean that'd be a great fight. I do like the Aljo call because we do kind of get to see a little bit of what that's about with the grappling. Dan tried to hold him up kind of against the fence to stall him, and Milky was not having it at all. So and once again, like I thought it was going to be an insane 15-minute war, and we don't even get out of the round. Easily probably my favorite fight. That and the one before, those were like really the highlight. The prelims.
What'd you make of the Jacoby Smith Josiah Harrell? They just let the kid with brain damage get more brain damage.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was not. I mean, Bobby, that was one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen. Like that reminded me of I think it was King Green and Jalen Turner. I mean, like that's how bad it was.
Yeah, I'll get to Kerry Hatley in a minute. For the Jacoby Smith portion of it, there were some wild transitions kind of getting going in that matchup. And then, he hit him with that slam. And, it absolutely ain't on Jacoby to hold up,
No.
And I hate this non-argument of, well, refereeing is tough. You should try it. And it's just such a non-argument to me. Like, Kerry Hatley does not even have the ability really to pull Jacoby Smith off of his opponent. Like, why is he even in there in the first place? Like, why isn't like Mergliata or someone in there? And I don't think I'd be as critical on it if this wasn't like the 10th time. I mean, we see a lot of these with him, but unfortunately, it's just something we've kind of gotten numb and used to in the sport because it just happens so frequently.
Yeah, it was bad. So Rob says Kerry Hatley's exactly what the sport needs, and he's a highlight intensifier. It was.
I mean,
I felt bad because the guy had a brain tumor, and then you're just letting what brain part of his brain has left. I mean, I was like, they're just gonna let his brain spew out on the canvas because he just kept getting hit so bad. He was out of it, like bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer a great a little bit more urgency, and that's kind of the shame part is it was already a great highlight, and then that gets put on it. But to Rob's point, it is violent and very entertaining. I mean, there was no fight of the night bonus because when these kept happening, I kept thinking like, oh shit, it is like when the medic got his KO, I thought Milky was going to get dicked out of a bonus and stuff. So I'm glad they just handed out multiple like performance bonuses.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the knockouts too, right? I think every finish gets a bonus now. So we're getting that. Anything else on the prelims that you want to, or on the Houston card you want to shout out?
JPL on the undercard, he absolutely just dominated Phil Rowe the entire time.
I don't know how that was a split decision. That was awful.
Yeah, that was terrible judging. Not to keep complaining, but that judging was abysmal. And literally, that was like when I saw that decision, I was like, oh, this is precisely why I just could not pick Strickland, because if it was going to go decision, I didn't trust it. But, got him out of there, so didn't deal with that. But that was great. And, I saw a lot of people saying they liked the heavyweight fight. To me, all they did by cutting Almeida was get manufactured shitty kickboxing. I would have much rather seen Spivak use his fucking wrestling. So that was I'm just batting a negative average with the heavyweights. So yeah, if there's one positive I can say about the Mexico card, there are no heavyweights on it. So,
there's only like 20 heavyweights in the divisions right now. So there's that.
Yeah.
We did get, before we get into the Mexico card, we did get a few fight announcements. During that card, we do know it's going to be Joaquin Buckley versus Sean Brady. For some awful reason, it's at the Apex, but I love the fight.
I would be so offended if I was Canadian right now. Because, you're probably going to mention the other fight, but yeah, legit great main event. And I guess I'm still complaining about the Apex in 2026. I know I said I wasn't going to, but like, what the fuck? That's so whack.
Yeah, that's that's a top tier matchup. We're talking the two of the best welterweights in the world, and you're putting them inside the Apex. And you mentioned we did get the Canada. I don't remember where at in Canada that they're going to. Ottawa, maybe Winnipeg. Okay. And that is Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. Like, that should have been the co-main, and give me Brady and Buckley as the main.
Yeah, I guess they're just trying to do the Canadian headliner. Nothing against Mike Malott, but it's a rough main event.
Yeah. And we did get some of that Miami flavor. How about, speaking of heavyweights down in Miami, we are going to get Josh Hokett. It's a huge step up. He's taking on Curtis Blades. That's, you win 2 fights as a heavyweight, you get a top 5 fight,
And that's actually a heavyweight fight I'm looking forward to. So I'll probably just fucking curse it because of that. So, but yeah, no, when they saw that, I love that matchmaking. No need to do this training wheels. Let's see what we got. There's no reason to really stonewall it, especially when 10 through 6 is pretty freaking interchangeable. So, a big fight for Curtis too. But he's I'm for a division I've been hating on. I'm actually excited for that one.
Yeah, it was also announced the same card. We mentioned Josh Van versus Tatsuro Taira. Seems like right now, I'm just looking on ESPN, they have that as the main event, and so maybe that is going to be the main event. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker is on that card, was announced for that card. And how about Paulo Costa's making his light heavyweight debut on that card as well versus Amzat Murzakanov.
I mean, interesting fight for Costa. He's gonna have to be very aware of his surroundings. So, as someone that dreads watching Paulo Costa fight, this one should be a little bit more entertaining for me. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it will shape up. I think it needs like at least one more. Some of these are a little rough. What's Kev
Yeah,
say?
Kev said I was a minute behind, but the UFC has one good, relevant Canadian fighter in Jillian Robertson. They refuse to book her in Canada. True that, Kev. I thought our last fight was in Canada, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would have much preferred, and I know they won't do this, but I would have preferred Jazz Divizius, who's fighting on that card. You know, that's a little
headline.
bit better of a sell for me. But you know, I to me, I just like really don't know what we're getting from Gilbert at this point. You know, he hasn't fought since that Morales fight, right?
I believe so. It's been a while since we've seen
Yeah.
Gilbert, and I
I
want to
mean,
say,
he definitely needed some time for that one. That was, you know, definitely took a lot of damage. But yeah, I don't know. This is just kind of what I mean. It's like we're waiting for the foot to drop to see what else is announced. Like to me, all the cards seem extremely cost effective. Like we can even
yeah,
get into it like this week. Like you got all the uh, contender series alumni on it, and so yeah, I don't know. I feel your sentiment and feeling like, you know, the White House announcement is similar to 300 because we felt like we were in a little stalling pattern of figuring all that out. So hopefully we can just get some announcements for nothing more than kind of clarity of what's going on.
yeah. Speaking of Burns, he hasn't fought since May 17th at 25, and he's also on a 4-fight losing streak. So
Yeah, well, that won't stop him from booking him in a Canadian main event.
so there's that. Let's get into UFC Mexico, Bobby. It is headlined by none other than the former Mexican flyweight champion himself, Brandon Moreno. Was supposed to be I forget who it was supposed to be. Who was it supposed to be?
The one flight, the Kazakhstan flyweight.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah,
Stepping in on short notice is Loner Kavanaugh, who actually dropped out of the rankings this past week. In the main event, you have Cheeto Vera versus David Martinez on the card. You have Daniel Zellenberg versus King Green. This is a heavy Mexican card, obviously, being in Mexico. Edgar Charavez versus Felipe Bunes. Not much. Macy Chasson versus Aline Perez is on the card as
let's
well.
hope Macy makes weight. I like how. What does the decision go into? This fighter missed weight. Hey, let's book them in Mexico. Like, I mean,
You got the return of Chris Moutinho, baby. He's on the card as well. So, not the greatest depth card. I don't feel like I don't even really. People are talking. The Europeans on Twitter. Shout out to Red Wolf and a couple others. They're kind of talking up Loner. He was 9-0, lost his last fight to our guy Charles Johnson, Energy. But Brandon Moreno is a kind of even a step above Energy. But people are still kind of high on Loner here on Saturday night.
yeah, I mean the hype is definitely warranted. He was looking really good in that Charles Johnson fight until Charles blanked him there. He's definitely got the speed advantage, and I absolutely get why people are high on him. I'm not mad at the matchup. In my heart of hearts, I wish they would have just let Horiguchi do it. But it is what it is. This is the fight, and I do think the rankings are kind of irrelevant for this one. I find this very competitive style wise, and Moreno definitely wants to get a win. He's not going to want to get, shown up by the young guy. So
yeah, Moreno's lost 4 out of his last 6 too.
Yeah, I think it will be compelling for sure.
Sorry, 3 out of his last 5. Sorry.
My biggest worry for Kavanaugh there is probably the short notice with the elevation factor. Like how much is that going to play into his hand of kind of needing to get Moreno out of there, or is he actually going to be able to go 25 minutes if this gets slowed down there?
I do think it probably goes 25 minutes. And let's look at some of the betting angles here. They may have it not. Let's see if they pulled it up here yet. When I looked earlier today, they didn't have
Side note, while you're looking for it, the one thing I catch the presser with Dana is he made very sure to let everyone know that someone won $1 million on Polymarket that night, and I found that the nonchalant ad read there just comical.
So, okay, here we go. So Moreno by TKO is plus 350. Moneyline, he's the favorite, minus 210. Kavanaugh is plus 175. Moreno by submission plus 350. Moreno by decision plus 175. Kavanaugh by decision is plus 350. And Kavanaugh by TKO or KO is plus 500. And I mean, if you think he's going to sub Moreno, it's plus 22,000.
Yeah, I mean, the money line of it kind of shows the respect to Kavanaugh. Because, especially at short notice, like not even being a 2-1 dog. So Vegas is definitely giving him some respect there. I might take a little nibble on like the plus 500 because I do think if he wins this fight, it's going to be a scenario where he has to get Moreno out of there.
Yeah, fight goes the distance is minus 125 for yes.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Both guys are game. Moreno is, I'm pretty sure that will be his plan from the get-go is to definitely try to extend the fight, win it in the later rounds. But, I mean, that's why I find it compelling. I mean, we got multiple flyweights on the card. So, I do think that's also a good decision to not have heavyweights on this card with the elevation and stuff. So, very good choice. Glad we've learned our lesson here.
I love watching heavyweights elevation. It's my favorite thing. I'm in good shape.
You're absolutely sick.
The co-main is Chito Vera versus Martinez. And Chito, slight dog, pretty heavy dog here at plus 260. Martinez, a heavy favorite at minus 325.
This is probably the performance I'm like kind of most looking forward to is see what we get out of Martinez with this. I kind of understand the line, especially with Chito's downloading style. He seems to kind of always take off that first round.
Yeah.
And, I really hope he can kind of get back on track here, but I'd be lying if I said I like his chances in this one. So hopefully he can prove me wrong. But I think Martinez is definitely one of those other guys that we need to watch that will very soon also be talking about title aspirations not far down the line. And even more so, if we don't get John Silva, I would love me some David Martinez versus Milky Costa. That would be fireworks.
Different weight class, though. Martinez is bantamweight.
Oh, well, I'm just a moron then.
Yeah. I was trying to think, when's the last time Chito won a fight? He hasn't won a fight since 2023. It's been 3 years since Chito won a fight. He's on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
Lost.
Yeah.
lost the unanimous decision to Sean O'Malley for the title. Lost to Figgy. Unanimous decision. Lost split decision to Amid Zahabi back in October.
Yeah, and once again, I think the one thing that could at least help Cheeto in this scenario is those three opponents definitely, fight more at range and stuff. And I do think Martinez is going to bring the fight to him a little more. So maybe he could take advantage of that. But this is definitely a, dangerous surging contender that they're giving him. So
yeah, this is where they, this is what they like to do. Build the, you build the young star off the old name, right? Cheeto's a guy who's fought for the title, been around, been a top guy kind of in the bantamweight. So, you Martinez goes out there and beats him, you build him up a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean Cheeto is very popular too. So I mean he's always kind of gonna have fans. But the Figgy fight, I would say would probably be his best performance out of like those three losses. I know he was making a case that he could have won the Zahabi fight. I scored it for Zahabi, but I don't know. I'm going to be interested if he has kind of any more urgency, because the last few times he has been kind of complaining about the judges. So maybe he'll get a little more aggressive, but that's just, not really his style. So
yeah, agreed. So, it's not the greatest card, and obviously we know some things are happening in Mexico, but it's a decent card. I feel like you could have added a little bit more to it, but I'll tune in on Saturday night.
yeah, I still wonder if they're punishing them for the move to San Antonio last year, even though the UFC brass was pretty much told that by media members that cover stuff over there, and they just didn't want to listen. So I don't think that's really be their fault. And I think the card will absolutely deliver on paper. A lot of these contender series alumni that they're breaking in are very exciting. So I think it'll definitely overperform on paper there. But yeah, at the same time, I could see if people see it and are like, you're really giving me Macy versus Lena Perez. So
yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it. You got anything else you need to add, Bobby?
no, I can't think of. We covered the Zufi thing. The one thing, Frank Warren's lawsuit that he was talking about, I think that makes a lot more sense, especially now that we heard that TKO is going to be doing that Tyson Fury thing. So I think, that's going to be something kind of interested to look for down the line. And I don't know. Hopefully we get some announcements over the weekend, but it's definitely not feeling like anything's coming down the pipeline. Seems like they're holding it back.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of rumors, and who knows who you can trust in these games. Just kind of wait and see as well. We'll be back next Wednesday. It is UFC 326, Bobby, next week. So next Saturday. So headlined by none other than the two future UFC Hall of Famers, Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira, for the BMF title. Witt's favorite title. That card is, it's pretty darn. It's a good card. I'm just gonna say it's a good card. It's what you expect when you're on a BMF card. Let's just say that. Your favorite fighter's fighting.
Oh man.
Yeah, other than that, folks,
next week will be a doozy.
Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. Next week, Bobby will be back talking about how much he loves Kyle Bajardo and all the great things he's going to do for the fighting nerds. Other than that, we'll be back. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. I'll be back with the boys on the Fall Start Thursday tomorrow night. So tune in for some great NFL offseason talk. So 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Can't wait to do that. It's combine season, baby. Other than that, folks, we'll be right back here. Another great episode to next Wednesday for another great episode of Head Kicks and Haymakers. I'm Bodkins for my guy Bobby Blunts. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights, baby.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.